keep calm and carry on might take on a whole new meaning now, thanks to what President Trump's been talking about and those Trump accounts for newborns. And you've probably heard about it by now, right? A plan to give every baby born in the U.S. between 2025 and 2029 a $1,000 investment account seeded by the government that tracks the S&P 500. And it's part of that big, bold, one big, beautiful bill that he's been pushing past and now signed into law. But it's kind of funny how the left never complained about these childhood investments, nor promoted the benefits of starting young and getting in early on compounding returns on investments. I guess they may have just overlooked that part of the big bill. But nevertheless, water under the bridge now. And I bet some of you are wondering what that $1,000 might look like 20 years down the road for those little ones, especially with the S&P 500 hitting new highs. Well, you know me, and I like the numbers, and keeping things calm and chill here for our podcast conversations. So let's break it down together, nice and easy, if that's okay with you. And if so, let me get a heck yeah in the comments, please. Just heck yeah in the comments. All right. Thanks, guys and gals. But we have so much to talk about and to get caught up on, right? Shocking Texas flooding updates and deaths. Texas flooding death toll rises to 24 as Christian summer camp kids remain missing. And it's so sad and so tragic. But let me know what you all think. Overly politicized? Faces of the missing two pals among nearly 24 confirmed missing from Texas Christian camp after devastating flooding. Very troubling. More pain hits the housing market, but it hasn't been this bad in nearly 20 years. People are moving to escape all of this, but tell me, would you relocate to Argentina for the lower cost of living? It helped them pay down student debt, but there's always a catch, right? And living abroad apparently has a dark side. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis vetoes study for property tax reform, and that's a sign pointing in the right direction. But will it lean fleeing New Yorkers further down south and by chance bringing their politics with them? Now that the MAGA bill has passed, expect a ton of short-term debt to be sold to finance the government's deficit, says Market Watch, Vivian Liu Chin with the Market Extra. New SALT cap could slash property tax paying for homeowners in these high-tax states. And check this one out. A woman was laid off at 65 and can't find a job, but doesn't want to retire, now feeling invisible to potential employers.
You expected some of this, but this is better than expected?
Yeah, Sarah, it is. Look, this jobs market is like the Energizer Bunny. Every single time we expect it to run out of steam, it just keeps going and going. So these new numbers show that the U.S. economy added 147,000 jobs in June. That was well ahead of the expectation of about 118,000, well ahead of some whispers that we heard on Wall Street of a sub 100,000 number. So this is indeed beating expectations. We were also expecting a slowdown. We did not get that. This is basically in line with May, which was revised higher. It's also good news. The unemployment rate was expected to go up. It didn't. It went down to 4.1%. That is a very healthy number. This is still relatively historically low. And again, it's below the 4.3% that we had expected.
How many of you guys fall into any of these categories? Let me know down in the comments. It looks like we're approaching 231,000 subscribers for the channel. And I got to say, you guys are all the best. Thank you so much for sticking with me here, folks. And let's talk about the S&P 500 hitting new highs. But more importantly, let's talk about how much $1,000 invested 20 years ago is worth today. And so first off, the S&P 500, well, what is it? Think of it like a big basket of America's top companies. Think Apple, Microsoft, and all those heavy hitters. Over time, it's been a solid way to grow money because it captures the strength of the U.S. economy. And for me, personally, I think of it as a simple and easy set it and forget it tool in my investment portfolio arsenal. It works well with the 5 pillars of wealth and taking control of your life and financial health. Freedom, folks. Increased earnings plus decreased spending, smart budgeting and tracking, think $0. Eliminate debt burden, high interest, credit cards, all but the house. And then pay that off as quickly as you can. Then save and invest. Dave Ramsey says the most powerful investment or investing tool you have is the money you make, and emphasizes that your income is your greatest wealth building tool. He often stresses the importance of managing your income wisely by budgeting, avoiding debt, and investing consistently to build wealth over time. And as you all know, of course, this aligns with his core philosophy of living within your means and using your income strategically to achieve financial goals. And before spending our income, money, dollars, or whatever, on anything, we must first invest in ourselves. But that last one comes from a mentor of mine, and his name is Alex Hermosi. And he told me, if you're making less than $100,000 a year and want to make more money, forget about investing into anything other than yourself. Your only priority should be learning how to make more money and then doing nothing else besides that. And if you want to learn more and dive deeper into these talks and discussions, I will share with you exactly how to do that later on in this video. And it's entirely free, and you're all welcome. And I would be thrilled to invite you and welcome you to the community, show you around, and introduce you to my friends there. Now, back to the Trump accounts and these youngsters who are about to be sitting pretty thanks to DJT, and how if we look back at history and let's just say take $1,000 invested in the S&P 500 20 years ago, back in 2005, and see just how much it would be worth today. And the short answer is more, a whole lot more. To give you a sense, historical data shows the S&P 500 has averaged about a 10% annual returns over long periods, including dividends, even though it's actually more like 7 to 8% when you adjust for inflation. But that's still pretty damn good, right? I mean, let's use that to paint a picture. So look at it like this. If we take that $1,000 from a Trump account and assume it grows at, say, an average of 7% a year after inflation, keeping things conservative, that money compounds over time. After 20 years, that $1,000 could grow to around $4,000. If the market does a little bit better, closer to that 10% historical average, it might be closer to $6,700. I mean, honestly, I would prefer not to make the reference, but dare I say, that's like a nice little stimmy check and a happy birthday present from old President Trump for some lucky 20-year-olds, right? Now, granted, that's not a fortune. I mean, it isn't what some would call or even consider life-changing. But imagine a 20-year-old starting out with $4,000 to even $6,700 for college, a down payment on a house, or maybe even a small business to start. I mean, what would you have done with that kind of money at that age? I mean, back then, that kind of money, that cash could have gone a very long way. Maybe you'd have used it to take some coding classes to sharpen your tech skills, or heck, maybe even have splurged on a beat up old car to cruise around and feel the freedom of the open road. I don't know. I'm thinking 67, 68 Camaro with a big block in it with plenty of chop, right? President Trump is making it happen, folks. We're talking thousands of dollars. I mean, look, that's a real leg up, especially for families who might not have extra cash to save. And speaking of extra cash to save, stretching those dollars, especially for seniors out there, and many of you are on Social Security, right? Or even living on a fixed income. If so, let me know in the comments. But maybe even you can just confirm and just keep it real. Life's not always easy, is it? With inflation, high costs, and the price of everything from groceries to gas climbing faster and faster than we'd like, it can feel like you're fighting tooth and nail just to make ends meet sometimes. And if you agree or this hits home, then that's where our friends at Chapter come in. And I'm thrilled to share them with you. Chapter's got a team of the most professional, licensed advisors who are all about helping folks just like you, seniors, retirees, hardworking people trying to get by, save more money. They are experts at finding ways to lighten that financial load, whether it's navigating Medicare options or uncovering savings you didn't even know were there. And here's the best part. It's fast, it's simple, and it's completely free to get started. And if you want more money saved and lower costs, just type Chapter in the comments. Just put Chapter, CHAPTER in the comments for me so I know who you are. So many people have already picked up the phone and called. The number's on the screen, 270-467-2426. And I want you all to know that we care about you and you're not alone. People just like you have already come away thrilled with the savings Chapter found for them. And all they did was make a simple and easy phone call. You've seen the number on the screen, 270-467-2426. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I know you've worked hard your whole lives, right? And I'm so proud to bring you a resource like this. All I ask is that you give them a call and see what they can do for you. There's no pressure, no obligation, just kind folks who genuinely want to help. Kind of like someone else we all admire, right? President Trump, am I right? So grab that phone, dial that number, 270-467-2426, and just take a quick minute to chat with our friends at Chapter. Then come back here and let me know how it went. What was your experience like? And the best part, how much did they help you save? I'd love to hear your stories. And honestly, you've got nothing to lose, really, right? And the upside potential is a whole lot to gain. It's a small step that can make a big difference. And I bet you'll be glad you did it. Now tell me, who's ready to make that call? I'll keep the number on the screen and let's keep looking out for each other, just like we always do, right?
The Trump-backed tax bill being considered in the Senate right now contains investment accounts for newborns. So how does this stack up against the more traditional 529 savings plan? Here to break it down, we've got our personal finance news senior editor, Molly Moorhead. Molly, give us some more details around this Trump account.
Hey, Brad. So the Trump accounts, as described in the House bill, are also a mechanism for funding a child's education, not exactly like a 529, but kind of some of the same bones. But they also have the flexibility of you can use the money for a first home purchase or for startup money for a new business. The talk about, I'm not sure if my child's going to go to college, these accounts have a few more uses that 529s don't. However, they are limited to $5,000 a year in contributions. The $1,000 in the bill would apply for newborns born between this year and 2028, and that's seed money from the government. For everyone else, though, you can put in $5,000 a year. It grows tax deferred, and then when you take it out, you'll pay the capital gains rate. So they're kind of a companion to 529s.
So how does that compare to a 529 savings plan then?
Right. Well, 529s, as you all just discussed, are limited to education expenses, although there is that Roth IRA rollover, as well as student loans and K-12. So they really have a lot of flexibility within the realm of education costs. But the biggest difference is that the contribution limit to a 529 is at a rate most of us will never hit. States set limits on them based on the cost of a higher education in the state, but it's over six figures. So you're not going to hit a ceiling, more than likely, on how much money you can put in. It also grows tax deferred. And then the big key difference is that it comes out tax free when you spend it on education costs. So again, the Trump account has a preferred rate of the capital gains rate, but a 529 tax-free when you withdraw it and spend it on education.
Molly, thanks so much for breaking this down.
Sure thing.
And did you know that the plan also lets parents, grandparents, or even churches add up to $5,000 a year to these accounts? And so let's say a family adds just $1,000 a year for 20 years on top of the initial $1,000. With that same 7% growth, the account could be worth around $44,000 by the time the kid hits 20 years old. And if they max out at $5,000 a year, we're talking over $200,000 in the same short time frame. How awesome is that? Talk about compounding interest, right? That's the kind of boost that could change a young person's life, especially for folks in small towns or working class neighborhoods who want their kids to have a shot at the American dream, especially knowing what we all know now, right? And I want to read this to you from the official whitehouse.gov website. And it says, Trump accounts will chart the path to prosperity for a generation of American kids. And today, President Donald J. Trump joined top business leaders and lawmakers to hail the creation of Trump accounts, a provision in the One Big Beautiful Bill that will create tax-deferred investment accounts for all newborn American children. Trump accounts for newborns will be seeded with a one-time government contribution of $1,000. The accounts will track a stock index and allow for additional private contributions up to $5,000 per year. And this will afford a generation of children the chance to experience the miracle of compound growth and set them on a course for prosperity from the very beginning. But it isn't just President Trump, the White House, and little old me here who's excited about this amazing future of generational wealth building. Big name CEOs and experts are pumped about it as well. And here's what they're saying. Dell CEO Michael Dell says, we see the establishment of these Trump accounts as a simple yet powerful way to transform lives. Decades of research has shown that giving children a financial head start profoundly impacts their long-term success. With these accounts, children will be much more likely to graduate from college, to start a business, to buy a home, and achieve lifelong financial stability. David Solomon, CEO of Goldman Sachs, says this initiative gets at the core of binding those future generations to the benefits and the potential of America's great companies and markets. Early childhood investments have far-reaching benefits, and Goldman Sachs is proud to support his initiative. Our economy's future vitality is dependent on young people understanding the power of investing for the long term. And the CEO of Uber says, what if we could give that same powerful, real, tangible hope that comes from having a stake in your own future and a stake in the best companies in the world to every single child that's born in this country? That's the promise of the Invest in America Act. It's not just an account, it's a launch pad. It puts the unstoppable engine of compounding to work for our kids, building a future for them from day one. Altmaier Capital CEO Brad Gerstner says this is aligning every child in America with the upside of free markets and the benefits, and that is your Main Street agenda. It makes America an ownership society again because all those kids will see the benefit of compounding interest. You're giving the shot for every American to feel like they're in the game again. Speaker Mike Johnson says that if you have a 401k, you understand the power of investing early for the future. Trump accounts take that same principle and they apply it from the very beginning of Americans' lives. It's a bold transformation policy that gives every eligible American child a financial head start from day one. Trump accounts are all about setting up the next generation for success. House Ways and Means Committee Chair Jason Smith says the Trump investment accounts will be a game changer for new parents even before their newborn baby can walk or talk. Their child will have money saved to one day learn a trade, start a business, or to buy a home. Every child born under this policy will have a better shot at a future. It does not matter if they live on a city block or on a country road. This will make a significant difference in their lives. And together with historic tax cuts and increased child tax credit, higher wages, and monumental economic growth, the One Big Beautiful Bill will change the lives of middle-class families across America. And stick with me here, folks, because this might be the most important part of the video. And yes, the Trump accounts for newborns, a provision in the One Big Beautiful Bill signed by President Trump on July 4th, 2025, are set to go into effect. These accounts will provide a one-time $1,000 deposit from the federal government for U.S. citizen children born between January 1, 2025 and December 31, 2028 as part of a pilot program. The funds will be placed in tax-deferred investment accounts tracking a U.S. stock index, with parents able to contribute up to $5,000 annually and employers up to $2,500 not counted as income. And the program's funded by the Department of the Treasury, with automatic enrollment for eligible newborns. And withdrawals can begin at age 18 for qualified expenses like education, a first home, or starting a business, taxed at the long-term capital gains rate. Now, that's a huge win, and a pilot program I'd like to see continued with the passing of the torch come Trump 2028, if you know what I mean. Stay locked in and stick with me, folks, and don't miss a thing. Be sure to check out the links below, and at the bottom of the description, there's an opt-in for my free money-saving community, and you're more than welcome to join if you'd like, and get the latest updates and an invitation to exclusive events, including my free mastermind. The Stay Free community is 100% free to join. Discover money-saving tips, passive income ideas, easy investing how-tos, and more. We look forward to seeing you guys there. Thanks for watching. And if you like this video, let me know and subscribe.